Om Shri Sai Ram. Welcome to all 6th standard students for this chapter, Suppression of Substances. This is the 5th chapter in the 6th standard science subject, and today we are going to learn different methods of suppression. Before that, we will know why we have to separate food, why you have to separate food substances and its particles. Before eating food, we should know that many process involves in preparing the food, and it also includes many processes of separation of substances. You all know there are 3 steps of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas, and these substances can be in all the 3 states, and all the substances have to be separated differently into different types of matter, and they also include there are many sizes, there are many substances which are in different sizes. So, we need to separate all the substances into their respective sizes to get useful products. And you should also know, before when you are eating food, you should think that many processes are involved from the beginning of growth of the crops and processing of the crops, and then preparing, purifying, then ultimately cooking the food. So, first we shall know step by step which are the processes involved in the separation of substances. In this chapter we will know separation of substances, purpose of separation, methods of separation, and lastly we will study keywords and summary of the chapter. Now we shall know what is separation of substances. Separation of substances they are taken from a mixture either by physically or chemical methods. So, what is a mixture we should know first. Mixture is a combination of 2 or more substances, and this separation of substances can be done by 2 methods, that is physical method and chemical method. Physical methods are hand picking, sieving and churning and all so on, etc. Chemical methods are distillation, chromatography and so on, it's etc. Mainly we are going to study only physical methods in this chapter and in this class, and chemical methods will be dealt in the higher classes. Before that, we should know why are we going to separate these substances. Separation of substances is mainly categorized into 3 reasons. One is, we will go each one by example. First one, to separate 2 dissimilar but useful substance from a mixture. Example like churning milk to obtain butter and buttermilk. This is having 2 useful components, that is butter and buttermilk. This is, both of them will be used for our purpose, and both of them will not be thrown away as any not useful component. So, this is the first reason which you are going to separate the substance. And second one, to get the useful elements from the useless ones, such as separating tea leaves from the tea. Here also, separating tea leaves from the tea is necessary because tea leaves are not required for us, only tea is required to drink. So, we separate useful elements from the useless elements. The third reason is to remove and discard impurities or harmful substances like picking stones from rice. This is done in every home, like picking stones from the rice to cook the food, to cook the rice. So, these are the main 3 reasons which you are going to see for the separation of substance. Next, one by one we will go into each of the methods. This is the first method, that is hand picking. This method of hand picking can be used for separating slightly large sized components, and they are in very less number. Like the impurities are pieces of dirt, stone and husk from many grains such as wheats, rices and pulses. This can be done by anyone at their homes, at anywhere. This quantity of such impurities is very less, so it is very useful to pick by hand and remove the useless components such as dirt, stone and husk from the rice, wheat or any grains for that matter. So, this is the convenient, most suitable method for separating the large sized impurity and which is very less in quantity. So, hand picking is the best method for separating this substance. Next method, threshing. Threshing is also one of the process after when we harvest the crop, we use this method. Farmers in the field do this when after the harvesting of the crops, they bundle all the grains, all the stalks, and they make a bundle out of it, and that bundle is beaten on a hard surface. On that hard surface, when we beat, the grains from the stalk will be separated. The grains are very small from the stalk, so this cannot be done by hand picking. Hand picking needs big size of grains to remove, but the grains are very small, so it takes long time and it is a laborious process. So, we use this threshing so that by beating the bundle we can get the grains and the stalk separated by this method of threshing. The seeds are very small than husk and can be plugged, so it is loosened by threshing. So, this is the method we all use in the farmers fields for separating the grains from the stalk. And next method continues after threshing is winnowing. Winnowing is a method used to separate heavier and lighter particles of grains. After the threshing, we collect all the grains in as a bundle, and that bundle we take some of the grains, and from a higher place we do it as you see in the picture. They are throwing the grains down, and the heavier particles, that is grains, will fall down straightly, and because of the wind the lighter particles will carry the husk outside, and the husk will be collected at a place, and that is used as fodder for cattle. So, here both fodder and the grains are not thrown away, they are both used for different purposes. So, these we can know by winnowing we have to separate heavier and lighter particles by the help of wind, and both will be used for different purposes. Next, sieving. Sieving is done by when you make the flour out of grains, the flour has to be still purified, because the dust particles and the husk will be there in the grains, and the flour will also have some particles of it. So, before using it for cooking, we have to clean the flour, and the flour particles will pass through the sieve, through the holes, and the bigger impurities remain on the sieve. Bigger impurities will remain on the sieve, and the flour particles will pass through. So, we can throw the bigger impurities outside the sieve. It helps to remove impurities like husk, stones and dirt pieces, etc. In separating sand from stones, also we use this at construction places. When you see near any places where homes are being constructed, we also separate the sand particles from stones and any dust. So, this is used at many places also. This sieving is also used many places. Next method, sedimentation and decantation. This is a combined method which we have to use to separate a substance. We see sedimentation involves a main process, that is gravitation. Gravitation means the power of attraction of particles which are heavier to below. You can see in the picture the heavier particles which are heavy in size, they will settle down in a beaker, and the lighter particles will be suspended in a beaker. So, we can see before cooking any food, mother used to wash the grains, so that lighter particles will be floating up, and the heavier particles will settle down. Heavier particles may be grains and lighter particles may be any dust. So, how can you separate both? Just pour the water outside, so the heavier particles will settle down and the lighter particles will just go out. So, we will get only grain part. In this, grains settle down and dust will float in the water. When the heavier components in a mixture settles after water, it is added to it. This process is called sedimentation. So, to make the grain settle and the lighter particles float, we use this sedimentation. After that, when the water is removed, the process is called decantation. The removing of the water is called decantation. So, we use both the methods to separate the lighter and heavier particles. Next method continues is filtration. To filter the liquid from solid, we use this process called filtration. Filtration happens when there is two types of components, two states of matter, one is solid and one is liquid. We can easily separate by a filter. You can see in the picture, this is the liquid part and the solid part will settle down on the filter paper, and the liquid part will just get collected in the beaker. So, we also use this in many examples, like we filter mud water or impure water, the mud will settle down on the filter paper, the water will be collected. And also we use for juices and vegetable juices to filter the seed part or the any waste part of the fruit will be collected in a filter paper, the juice will be collected for us to drink. So, this is also a method we use at many places. Next, evaporation and condensation. The process of conversion of water into its vapor is called evaporation. This method involves the third states of matter, that is water into gas. Water is converted into vapor by heating it, and it is called evaporation. What will happen if you heat the water? What is the use of making vapors? There is use. The soluble is left behind in the vessels. The water has many contents in it, like salts or any sugar. This soluble is left behind in the vessel when the water gets evaporated. So, you can see in the picture, in the area they have collected sea water in the shallow pits. Shallow pits are not very depth, they are very shallow and water will just be on the ground, and that water gets heated by the sun. After the complete evaporation, the water will be evaporated into gas or vapors, and what we get behind is this salt. This salt is not purified and it has to be purified further for we to get the common salt which we use daily for all the taste in our food. Next we will see an example where we use this method to separate mud and salt. How to separate this mud and salt? If we get a mud and salt, how will we separate? We use this method. So, first to the mud and water, we pour mud and salt, we pour water, and that water is allowed to get heated up. That water vapor will go up, leaving behind the mud particles. So, before that we have to decant, sedimentation and decantation. The mud particles will be settled down, the water particles will be poured out. So, we will get the water and the salt particles, because salt will get dissolved in the water. So, we can easily remove the mud by sedimentation and decantation. Then the sea water, that salt water is allowed to get heated up, that water will come up and the water vapor will be collected down, that is cooled to get water, that is called condensation. So, first let us decant the mud water, sand will be left behind, then heat the water to collect vapors in a separate vessels, that will be cooled down to make water, salt will be left behind the heated vessel. So, the vessel will be having the salt. So, at last we will get the fresh water without any salt, without any mud. Through this way we can separate both salt and mud easily. This process of conversion of water vapor into its liquid form is called condensation. This is a different term. Condensation is the process of conversion of water vapor into liquid. This is coming back from gas to liquid state, that is called condensation. Next, saturation of a substance. This is a concept where we have to understand what is saturation. Saturation is a part where water can dissolve high amount of substance until a certain limit. After that it cannot dissolve more of it. So, before that we should know water dissolves different amount of substance in it, and it is also called as universal solvent. It is also called as universal solvent because it can dissolve many solids like salts and many chemicals in it, and it also can dissolve many types of liquids in it, many kinds of many kinds of oils or any liquids, and it also can dissolve many gases in it. So, we can call the water as universal solvent. A saturated solution is the one in which no more of that substance can dissolve. Until a certain limit, a substance, any substance in a water can dissolve. After that, it cannot dissolve. So, it will get remain in the beaker. So, what we have to do to dissolve more, we have to heat the solution. When we heat the solution, the particles will get loosened and it will get dissolved in water. But that solution which is no more going to dissolve the substance, that solution is called saturation of solution. Lastly, we are coming for the keywords and summary part. These are the main words which you have to remember in the lesson, that is churning, condensation, decantation, evaporation, filtration, hand picking, saturated solution, sedimentation, sieving, solution, threshing and winnowing. These are the main words which you have to remember and practice the spellings, and the word meaning also you have to remember. These are the summary. We will go through each point. Husk and stones could be separated from grains by hand picking. This is the simple method where everyone can do by separating by hand the stones and the husk. The second point, husk is separated from heavier seeds of grain by winnowing. This is the second part which use because of the wind, the husk can be blown away and the grains can be separated. The third point, difference in the size of particles in the mixture is utilized to separate them by the process of sieving and filtration. This is filtration process where we use different size of particles to get filtered. In a mixture of sand and water, the heavier sand particles settle down at the bottom of the water. This process is also called decantation. Evaporation can be used to separate a solid dissolved in a liquid. So, the evaporation process can be used to separate dissolved salts or dissolved any solid substance in a liquid. A saturated solution is a one in which no more of that substance can be dissolved. So, these are the main points of the lesson. We will go to exercise part of it. There are 4 fill the blanks. You can try to answer them. The method of separating seeds of paddy from its stalks is called threshing. When milk cooled after boiling is poured onto a piece of cloth, the cream is left behind on it. This process of separating cream from milk is an example of filtration. Salt is obtained from sea water by the process of evaporation. Impurities settled at the bottom when muddy water was kept on overnight in a bucket. The clear water was then poured off from the top. The process of separation used in this example is called decantation. Before that, sedimentation and decantation. Then we will come to true or false. A mixture of milk and water can be separated by filtration. Can you separate milk and water by filtration? No, because milk and water is in both same state. We cannot distinguish between milk and water by filter, because milk and water both will pass through the filter paper. So, this is false. Second one, a mixture of powdered salt and sugar can be separated by the process of winnowing. In winnowing, we use it for separating heavier and lighter particles, but here salt and sugar both are of same heavier particles. So, it cannot be blown away by the wind. So, this answer is false. Next, separation of sugar from tea can be done with filtration. Sugar is already dissolved in the tea. So, by filtration we cannot distinguish both. So, sugar and tea cannot be separated by filtration. Grain and husk can be separated with the process of decantation. Decantation involves the heavier particles and lighter particles. This decantation can be done because grains will settle down at the below and the husk can be poured out along with the water. So, this is true. here comes to the end of the chapter, and please practice this exercise and the main keywords, and also study the summary, learn the main points, learn the main headings of it and the definition for the keywords. So, it will be helpful for you to learn. In this chapter we have to learn different types of methods of suppression, that is hand picking, sieving, winnowing, threshing and so on. And we have to learn the spellings of it, and mainly you have to get an experience of how it happens, and how it happens from beginning of the crop harvesting to the process of cooking. So, this chapter you have to learn all this process and to get good knowledge of it. Thank you.